Hello everyone, and welcome to day 1 of the 7 Days of Gratitude Art Journaling Challenge. Day 1, the prompt is home, and so I'm cutting out some home-related die cuts from the printable sheet that is available on my blog, and that'll be linked below. And so I just cut out that home title and the little house doodle that I did, and I'm just setting those aside to use later. And now I'm gluing down some patterned paper and I just glued down the whole thing and am now trimming around the page underneath to get it the right size. So now I have kind of 3 different patterned papers to work with, which is just a fun way to start off the layout. And I wanted to use some washi as a masking technique, and so instead of using the washi that I set aside for this project, which are some of my favorites, I grabbed this roll of gold dot washi that I have that is actually really similar to another roll I have, so that's why I'm using it. It's just one that I have a lot of, so I don't mind wasting a little bit. And now I'm taking some white paint and I'm scraping it on with an old gift card. And I did this so that there was quite a bit of texture on there, which is what I'm just showing you. And I wanted it to have a bit of that texture. I think that's part of the fun of using paint in your art journal, is that it adds an unexpected element and a kind of texture that wouldn't be there otherwise. So I'm just drawing it with an embossing gun to speed up the process. And that's because the texture left a little bit of excess paint, so I needed to use that heat gun to dry it. Otherwise, the gift card technique, by scraping it really thin, it actually dries really quickly. So I'm going to do a little bit more of that technique on this side, and I don't really need to use my heat gun to dry this because I am doing such a thin layer. And you can see me kind of scraping horizontally and vertically to cover up some of the pattern underneath. And I want a little bit to show because otherwise I would have just used like white paper to cover that. And so now I'm trimming around this die cut, and I already trimmed closer to that house one. And I think I am going to use those on this left page to kind of create a little vignette on top of that white square of paint I did. And I grabbed this kind of peach circle sticker, and I thought that would just be a fun layering piece. And now I'm using a striped rectangle stamp, and this just reminds me of washi tape, and I thought that would be a fun layer. And I'm using this I think it's called Versamark ink pad to stamp, and the reason I use this ink pad is that it's great. Oh, this is the StazOn ink pad. It's a great ink for stamping on lots of different surfaces, so I used that one because I had the paper, the paint, the glossy sticker, and the ink pad dried on it all. So that's a great ink pad to use if you are looking to add some stamping into your art journal. So now I'm just adding some journaling, and I start with a Sharpie and then switch to a ballpoint pen. Sometimes the Sharpie works best on paint, and sometimes if it's not quite dry, it kind of picks up the paint and starts to fade. So I switched over to that juicy ballpoint pen, and it worked really well. I just have to be a little bit careful about letting it dry. Now I'm adding some washi, some of these kind of fern leaf pieces of washi, and then I'm adding one of the word strips from the printable that says right here. And I'm just kind of playing around with different washi tapes to see what I like best. I go with this copper to add a little bit of metallic sparkle to the page, another texture, another color to make that kind of pop. And then I stick that right here, word strip, right on top, add a little bit of this black and white grid washi, and I trim it down so it's a little skinnier. That just adds another shape. And now I'm sticking one of these little geotag stickers on top. That's another color. It's kind of this forest green. But I think it ties in really well with the light blue and the coral red. Now I'm adding another sticker that says favorite. So that is it for this day one. I hope you enjoyed seeing the techniques I used on this page, and I hope that it inspires you to start this challenge off, try something new, and journal about your home and why you're grateful to be where you are. Here's some close-ups of the page just so you can see some of those details. And I hope that you will share your work on Instagram using the hashtag #GratitudeArtJournal and tag Laura and I as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you tomorrow with another video. Bye, everyone.